Welcome to Top 30. I'm Richard Bacon.
And I'm Kristen Smith. And here are your top 30 stories in 30 minutes.
Researchers from Kaspersky Lab, a Russian-based cybersecurity provider, found an automation software commonly used by gas stations is vulnerable to hacking. The vulnerable product is Cytomat from Oprah Systems, a company that makes fuel management software. Cytomat is described by Oprah as the heart of the fuel station. It allows station managers to set fuel prices and process credit card transactions, as well as the amount and type of gas that is being dispersed. But more than 1,000 gas stations that use Cytomat software allow remote access to the system over the internet, which makes it vulnerable to cyber attacks, where hackers could potentially steal credit card information, alter fuel prices, and steal gasoline. Viv Tal, Orpak's Vice President of Strategy and Marketing, said Orpak's highest priority is its customer security, and we take very seriously the ever-growing cyber risks that may impact our industry. Of the 1,000 affected gas stations, more than 270 are located in the United States.
Science has confirmed that you and your best friend really do think alike. In a new study, researchers were able to demonstrate that friends' brains responded in similar ways. Using 279 students from Dartmouth University, their brains were monitored using fMRI while they watched a variety of clips and music videos. Senior author Talia Wheatley said friends responded more similarly than people who are friends of friends, who in turn are more similar than friends of friends of friends. The study says the results remain the same even when they control demographics like age, gender, nationality, and ethnicity. They can't tell yet if the similar responses are due to friends spending time together or if we gravitate towards people who already see the world as we do. But they did say it's likely a mixture of social and biological influences.
Here is your Top 30 Health Roundup. A study published in the journal Bioscience found even small exposures to nature throughout the day, like seeing a tree or hearing a bird song, can elevate your mood for hours afterwards. And the benefits were particularly strong for people suffering from mental illness. The findings have implications for urban development, where such exposure to nature can be hard to come by. Next, 29 states have legalized either medical or recreational marijuana. With legalization becoming more widespread, researchers are comparing the effects of marijuana and alcohol use on a person's overall health. And findings published in the journal Addiction found alcohol use caused long-term structural changes to white and gray matter in the brain, whereas people who had used marijuana in the past 30 days had no significant structural changes. And last, it turns out smiling may help you make it through your run more easily. Researchers Noel Brick and Richard Metcalf from The Conversation found runners who smiled were 2.8% more economical in their energy output compared to those who frowned, meaning they expended less energy while running. This research supports the concept of embodied emotion, or the idea that adopting a certain facial expression can change your emotional response. So whether you are training for a marathon or a 5K, a smile may help push you through that next mile. Several states have started a new program that allows shoppers using food stamps the ability to buy fresh produce. Some people on food stamps say fresh produce was too expensive and that they could not get many of the fruits and vegetables they wanted. But now a handful of states, California, Georgia, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and New Mexico, have gotten a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to fund a new program aimed at improving the health of low-income families. People enrolled in the program get a dollar-for-dollar match when they buy fresh produce up to $40 a month. That extra money can only be used to buy more produce. The program is funded for 4 years, and officials will examine just how effective it was before deciding if it should continue.
Welcome back to Top 30. So, Richard, you feeling okay today?
Good.
Feeling 100%?
Yep.
Here's why I ask. There's a new study, and it finds the average adult puts up with health problems for 5 months before going to the doctor.
Just men.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I first saw this study. This includes back pain, hearing problems, headaches, vision issues. Doctors say some of these can be symptoms to much bigger problems.
Of course. This is not backed up by any scientific study I've read, but your instinct is there's a stubbornness in men.
Yeah.
Isn't there? Anything wrong with my wife, she'll be straight down the doctor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take the kids straight down the doctor. There's a stubbornness in us, which is be all right.
If I didn't book my husband's doctor's appointments, every year I book his dentist, vision, doctor. If I didn't, that man would never go to the doctor. And I don't know if it's a gender thing. I'm just saying, I totally agree with you. I am on it.
A few years ago, one of my closest friends, he was only 42, and he wasn't feeling well for a few months, and he just didn't bother going to the doctor because he was stubborn, almost as if he saw it as a sign of weakness. He collapsed and died one day, and his body was riddled with cancer. I felt angry at him. I was angry at him. You could have just gone. You knew there was something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You could have just gone to a doctor months ago.
Yeah, and sadly, 50% of people say they didn't want to waste the doctor's time. 42% said they were in denial about the issue, and I'm sorry to hear about your friend. I wonder if there was a level of denial there, or...
They were totally denial, but it's just humans, we're just so fallible and vulnerable and imperfect, and we need fixing. And if you don't feel good, get yourself checked out. Now onto a story that has a lot of parents talking. It's a picture of a 10-year-old girl showing off her abs. There is the picture. Why are people talking about it so much, do you think?
It's so controversial because she is ripped. She's 10 years old. I mean, look at those muscles. They're like bam, bam, bam.
They are. I mean, so she is training to be a gymnast, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Chandler King is a gymnast, and here's the key thing, an Olympic hopeful. It's so hard to get into the Olympics. You can be in the Olympics as a gymnast when you're 16.
Why she's getting a lot of criticism is because people are saying, hey, this kid should be having fun. She trains 30 hours a week.
I think this is her fun, though, right? If you're into sport, isn't this your fun?
I was into sports so young. When I was 10, I slept with my basketball. We were out in the driveway playing all the time. We were constantly in the gym. You know, I wasn't naturally built this way. This little girl, her dad even said, went on record saying that she had an unusual level of body control even as a 3-year-old. She doesn't use weights. She uses her own body weight. She's not on a diet. She eats cookies. She eats whatever kids eat.
I understand there are issues with young kids having strong muscle definition. We know that, but I still think there is more to celebrate here than to condemn.
Wish her the best of luck, right? She's going to be in the Olympics one day.
I hope so.
We're rooting for her. We all had teddy bears growing up. Did you have a teddy bear growing up?
No.
I know I did.
We didn't all. I've disproved your statement already.
Okay, well, hear me out. I've got some more to say. There's a new survey, and it finds a lot of adults still interact with their cuddly friends well beyond their childhood years. In fact, 43% of adults privately get a cuddle sesh from their favorite stuffed toy every now and then.
These are surprising numbers, aren't they?
This is kind of a nostalgic story for me because my teddy bear growing up was named Bear Bear.
Bear Bear?
Is named Bear Bear.
Yeah, so good you named him twice.
Right?
Good, got it, yeah.
Well, my son now sleeps with Bear Bear. So my teddy bear, who I slept with for a very long time now, my 3-year-old sleeps with Bear Bear, and he knows that, so it's very special to him.
That's fine that your son sleeps with Bear Bear, who's 3. If you slept with Bear Bear, 84% of men admit to still having a stuffed animal, while 77% of women have one as well.
So more
These adults. Men are weird, aren't they? They can't be bothered to go to the doctor, but they've got a teddy bear.
I'm not going to argue with that.
I know. Still, none of this is as profoundly weird as sleeping with a basketball.
What? I wanted to be one with the basketball. I thought it would make me better. Anyway, don't judge. Top 30, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Top 30. After recent school shootings, some politicians have blamed violent video games. Now an Illinois judge has ordered a high school student to stop playing violent video games after he made a comment about a school shooting online. The judge also criticized the parents for letting their son play those video games. He made a comment that looked like a threat to shoot up his school. It looks like it was very much a joke. But obviously, in the wake of recent events...
And this kid posted on Snapchat because basically people were talking about a recent security threat at his school. He got annoyed, so he posted a clip on Snapchat saying, y'all need to shut up about school shootings or I'll do one.
There you go.
That was his exact post.
Right.
And then he got taken away to a juvenile detention facility. Right away, actually.
Yeah, but the judge has said that he must stay away from his phone, from social media and violent video games. It'd be quite good if the judge made that ruling for basically all teenagers.
So I'm not surprised by this ruling. I do think there's a bright spot in this story.
Yeah.
And it's good that something was done when there was a red flag.
That's true. And also, he's told him he can play Mario Kart whenever he wants.
Which is always a good
Great game.
Oh, I'm really good at that game. I am. I'm like really good. Okay.
But it's an interesting story, and yes, and also a judge chastising parents for letting their kids play violent video games.
I think this is going to be a big talker today. A recent survey says that women face more rudeness in their workplace than men do. From other women. This study by the University of Arizona said women who describe themselves as assertive get treated worse. Those who deal with rudeness are also more likely to quit their jobs. There's actually a phrase for this. It's called queen bee syndrome. And basically, a woman gets seniority in the workplace and then starts being extremely rude to those beneath her.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen this over the years. I think there's a lot of truth to it.
Yeah,
and I think it's a couple of things. I think women, we are competitive with one another. And so I think we can feel very threatened. I think another thing is we have to work so hard to get to a place of seniority that by the time we're there, we're like, hey, nobody's gonna take this away from me. Because that's how we are as women. So listen, I know you don't understand women very well, but you're getting there. No, kidding.
No, but it is, no, but I'm saying it's a really odd thing. I think it's a slightly contradictory thing.
You do.
You have to work harder as a woman to get to the top, so you then have less empathy for women beneath you, and you're harder on women than men.
It's a threatening thing.
Whereas us men are completely without flaws and demonstrate nothing other than excellent judgment.
Yeah, right. Top 30, I'll be right back. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 35 Orlando, 11-year-old Lucas Iguina is your average fourth grader. But when he was born, a rare heart disease left him with only half a heart. With 3 open heart surgeries before his 3rd birthday, the doctors at Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital were able to reconstruct the other half. Now Lucas and his family are headed to Washington, D.C. to share his journey with elected officials, hoping to find funding so others can get the help he was so fortunate to find. Our next story from Fox 46 Charlotte. Wrestling is in the Fitch family's blood. So when it came time to try out for the high school wrestling team, nothing was going to hold Heaven Fitch back, especially not the fact that she's a girl.
The way that I like to state it is, she's a wrestler. She just happens to be a girl.
Standing at just 4'11" and weighing 100 pounds, Heaven's proven herself a fierce competitor. This season, she's had 30 wins, including the 3A South Piedmont Conference Championship. Our final story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. Virginia Blake just turned 104 years young, and maybe it's because of her easygoing attitude.
Just take things as they are because they're going to be that way, and supply worry. It doesn't do it very good.
A loving wife and mother, she inspires everyone with her kind heart.
Try to help someone else every day. You know, don't just think of yourself.
Virginia is having fun and says she'll live another 104 years.
There is plenty of advice available on what to do in job interviews. This is about what not to do. Hiring managers and human resources workers were asked about interview behavior that would destroy a candidate's chances immediately. The survey was done by the Harris poll. 71% said the biggest mistake was being caught in a lie. A shocking 67% said candidates had answered phone calls or texted during the interview. Body language is also important. 68% of managers said candidates had failed to make enough eye contact. 38% didn't smile enough. The HR experts were asked about the most unusual behavior they witnessed. One candidate was asked for his personal philosophy. He seemed unqualified when he answered, "Fake it till you make it." Another asked an interviewer if she was qualified to do her job. One brave interviewee asked for a cocktail during the interview. By then, it was probably too late. About half of the managers said they had decided whether to hire a person within the first 5 minutes. There's something called bioluminescent phytoplankton, and it's lighting up the shoreline of Big Sur in California. The blooming plankton causes the blue water to light up, especially at night. Phytoplankton is a microscopic organism that is food for a wide range of animals in the ocean. Reports of the glowing waves have jumped since January, as specialists say it's likely due to a combination of high nutrient rates and calm weather conditions in the water. Once winds pick back up, the phytoplankton will likely disperse throughout the ocean and the stunning glow will be gone.
Oprah is an American icon, a talk show host, actress, producer, television network owner, and philanthropist all rolled into one. Born into poverty in rural Mississippi, Oprah went on to become the world's first Black female billionaire, proving she truly embodies the American dream. So it's no surprise lots of people turn to Oprah for inspiration, and she has yet to disappoint. When delivering a commencement address at Harvard in 2013, Oprah had this to say about failure.
There is no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in another direction.
Oprah has taught us how to value ourselves and believe in our own potential.
Only you have the power to take responsibility to move your life forward.
And who could forget her powerful speech at the Golden Globes when she addressed the Me Too movement?
So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon.
And when that new day comes, we know Oprah will be there with all the right words.
More farmers are going out of business because they're producing too much wheat and corn, which in turn keeps prices down, this according to the Wall Street Journal. Wheat and corn prices have gone down every year since 2014. Farming was already a challenging way to make money. Startup costs like land and equipment are huge. One combine might cost $750,000. An economist said, "We call this the irreversible supply curve. It is the big fixed cost once you have invested in new land or equipment and you can't reverse it." Crops and livestock take years to mature, so farmers cannot react quickly to changing demand for their product.
Do you ever have trouble finding the really good snacks in the kitchen? Well, there's a reason why. Jason Matheson, host of The Jason Show on Fox 9 in Minneapolis, tells us more. Jason?
Hey, Kristen, I am a person who loves a really good survey, even really dumb ones or silly ones like this. There was a recent survey that polled moms all across the country, and listen to this, I knew it, 70% of moms admit that they hide the good stuff. And when I'm talking good stuff, I'm talking about candies and ice cream and good potato chips. 70% of you leaving the rest, the generic stuff, for their husbands and wives and children. They're hiding the good stuff. Personally, when I was a kid, my mom hid everything from me, including Long John Silver's and Snickers and Lifesavers as well. Kristen?
Well, secret's out. Moms hide the snacks. Thanks, Jason.
There has been very little academic study about the work of the film actor Vin Diesel until now. A study by Harvard Medical School suggests that watching the Fast and Furious movies could lead filmgoers to drive Fast and Furious themselves. The franchise features illegal street racing. Researchers looked at 5 years' worth of speeding tickets in Maryland's Montgomery County. The 3 weekends after a Fast and Furious movie's release, ticketed speeds were about 20% higher than in the 3 weekends before. The average speed over the posted limit was 90 miles an hour. At the same time, the number of speeders recorded at 40 miles an hour or more above the limit doubled. Using location data on the tickets, the study's authors found that many of the speeding violations were within 2 miles from a movie theater. The team says their study doesn't prove watching movies increases speeding, but they didn't see the same increase after the release of other movies.
What do Barack Obama, Julia Roberts, and Justin Bieber have in common? They're all left-handed, along with about 10% of the population. And while there have been many theories as to why some people prefer to use their left hand over their right, from witchcraft to differences in the brain hemispheres, new research suggests it may be determined when you're still in the womb. According to a study published in the journal eLife, it could all come down to gene activity in the spinal cord. Arm and hand movements are determined by a part of the brain called the motor cortex. Up until 15 weeks of pregnancy, the motor cortex and the spinal cord are not connected in the fetus. However, by that point, right or left-handedness is already determined, meaning a fetus can choose a favorite hand long before their brain actually controls their movements. Instead, scientists say your favorite hand is more likely determined by differences in gene expression. At least it all comes down to DNA and not witchcraft.
Travel and Leisure magazine named Canada as its destination of the year, and after seeing these photos, you'll understand why. The magazine's editor-in-chief said the country has distinguished itself during a particularly divisive time as a welcome unifier of communities and cultures. If a big city is what you're seeking, head to Toronto, the country's largest metropolis, with world-class restaurants, museums, and historic districts. And Whistler in British Columbia is a winter wonderland with some of the best slopes in the world and the charm of a European village. Edmonton houses the world's second largest indoor water park inside the largest mall in North America, if that floats your boat. And Quebec City is a blast of culture with the French-speaking natives strolling through the only walled city north of Mexico with cobblestone streets. Canada is better than you think. Go.
Thanks for watching. You can catch up on past episodes of Top 30 now on Hulu. You can also download the Top 30 mobile app and visit our website. We want to hear from you, so connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, follow, and subscribe to @Top30TV for interviews and exclusive web content. We'll see you next time on Top 30.